Today I'm going to review Avatar 2: The Way of Water, a sequel to James Cameron's Avatar back in 2009. James Cameron, of course, is one of my favorite movie directors. He is known as the box office king for Hollywood. He has made wonderful successful films in his career, such as his epic science fiction films The Terminator, Aliens, The Abyss, and Terminator 2: Judgment Day, his action comedy film True Lies, and his epic romantic disaster film Titanic, which used to be the #1 highest grossing film of all time until in his 12 years absence got surpassed by his own science fiction film Avatar. Now, I really love the first Avatar film. It is one of my favorite movies of all time and was the first film I saw in IMAX 3D. It is visually stunning, had a very good story even though it's the science fiction version of Dances with Wolves, beautiful music, wonderful acting, and it made 3D popular again. The success of Avatar had a huge impact around the world, so much so that many of the science fiction films, fantasy films, superhero films, animated films, action films, adventure films, and even horror films that were released throughout the 2010s were converted to 3D. James Cameron's Avatar has become the #1 highest grossing film of all time, until it was surpassed by Avengers Endgame. However, until during the pandemic, it got some re-release including China and later reclaimed the #1 highest grossing film. So after 13 years of waiting, we are finally getting an Avatar sequel. When I first saw the trailers, I became super excited because it does look very beautiful, epic, and something very new. I saw it last December in IMAX 3D and it's fantastic. One of the most mind-blowing films I had ever seen, and I'm definitely going to tell you why I think this way. The story of this film took place more than a decade after the first film. It's pretty much about Jake Sully, now a Na'vi, lives as a chief of Omataclayan clan and raised a family with Neytiri, which includes two sons, Nitiyam and Lok, daughter Tuk, an adopted daughter Kiri, and an adopted human son, Spider. Everything seems peaceful at first in planet Pandora until RAD human military, which the Na'vi called Sky People, has returned. As a result, Na'vi Jake Sully and his family had to do battle against a renewed human threat and had to seek refuge with the Water Na'vi. I find the story of this film to be very good, even though there are some parts similar to the first film. It's pretty much all about protecting the environment. While the first Avatar film took place in a forest, this Avatar film took place in the ocean. Like the first Avatar film, the special effects in this film are still amazing. I can tell that every background in this film are used in blue screen. All the forest creatures and the water creatures in Pandora are used in CGI, especially the way they move as well as the details of their skins. All the Na'vi characters are of course in motion capture. I also find it interesting that the land Na'vi had blue skin while the water Na'vi had light blue skin. While the land Na'vi are sort of like Native Americans, the water Na'vi are pretty much like Native Islanders. The landscape of Pandora is so beautiful looking. While I still love seeing the forest and the mountain of Pandora, the ocean and the underwater of Pandora are so magnificent and colorful. The military base, the ships, the planes, the weapons, and the big robots that were piloted by the military are very well designed. The action scenes and the battle sequences are so epic to watch, especially there are a lot of explosions, destructions, gun shootings, and arrow shootings. Now for the actors in this film. Returning from the first Avatar film are Jake Sully, played by Sam Worthington, who is from Terminator Salvation, the two Clash of the Titan films, Everest and Hacksaw Ridge, Neytiri, played by Zoe Saldana, the evil villain Colonel Miles Courage, played by Stephen Lang, who is from Gettysburg, Tombstone, Public Enemies, and Don't Breathe, Mawat, played by CCH Pounder, Dr. Norman Spellman, played by Joel David Moore, Dr. Max Patel, played by Dilip Rao, who is from Inception, and Corporal Lily Wainfleet, played by Matt Gerard, who is from Terminator 3 Rise of the Machine, SWAT, Rampage, and the Daredevil TV show. All still did a great and splendid job as always. Jake Sully used to be a human who controlled his Avatar Na'vi body with his mind while sleeping inside the machine from the first film, and now in this film, he is in full Na'vi form that is a strong leader who is very protective of his family and his people. Plus, he is still good at fighting his enemies with his knife and guns, as well as riding the Pandora horses, the flying reptilian creatures, and the water creatures. Neytiri is a female Na'vi warrior who is good at shooting arrow, and in this film is Jake's wife and also very protective. Much like the first film, Colonel Miles Courage is definitely the main villain in this film. Colonel Miles Courage is a ruthless RAD military leader who also used to be human in the first film until he got killed, and in this film, he is revived as a Na'vi who wants revenge on Jake and his family. Although Colonel Miles did have that similar behavior and attitude as Major Chip Hazard from Small Soldiers, he is just as threatening and dangerous as the T-1000 from Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Mowat is Neytiri's mother, who is only in this film for a short time. Dr. Norman Spellman and Dr. Max Patel are scientists that are close allies with Jake and his Na'vi people. Corporal Lily Wainfleet is also a RAD military human who got killed from the first film and was later revived as a Na'vi, and in this film, he is Colonel Miles' second in command. Now for the children of Jake and Neytiri. Nitiam, played by Jamie Flatters, Lok, played by Britton Dalton, Took, played by Trinity Jolie Bless, Kiri, played by Sigourney Weaver, and Spider, played by Jack Champion. Nitiam is a 16-year-old boy and the older child who is the leader of his siblings. Lok is a 14-year-old boy who is a tough guy and had a closer bond with one of the Pandora whales. Took is an 8-year-old girl and the youngest child who seems very playful. Kiri is a 14-year-old adopted daughter who enjoys swimming underwater, and she is very cute and adorable. Sigourney Weaver has previously played Dr. Grace Augustin in the first Avatar film. I don't want to get too much into detail, but those two characters played by Sigourney Weaver are actually related. Spider is a 16-year-old human boy who is adopted by Jake and Neytiri, and he is, however, related to Colonel Miles. Also appearing in this film is Ronal, played by Kate Winslet, Tomowari, played by Cliff Curtis, Tessuria, played by Bailey Bass, General Francis Edmore, played by Eddie Falco, who is from The Sopranos, Captain Mick, played by Brendan Colwell, and Dr. Ian Garvin, played by Jermaine Clement, who is from the two real movies Men in Black 3 and Moana. Ronal is a pregnant free diver of the water Na'vi, and Tomowari's his wife, who they have a son and a daughter together. This is the second time Kate Winslet did a movie with James Cameron since they worked together in Titanic. Tomowari is the chief of the water Na'vi and Ronal's his husband, who is a very noble and brave. Tessuria is the daughter of Tomowari and Ronal, who is a graceful and strong free diver, and also the love interest of Lok. Plus, she is also very cute, adorable, and very attractive. General Francis Edmore is the commander in charge of the RDA. Captain Mick is the head of RDA, who is a marine hunter. Dr. Ian Garvin is a marine biologist who works for the RAD. James Cameron, as always, did an incredible job directing this movie, especially made this film so beautiful and epic. Unfortunately, James Horner did not return to compose the music of this film because he sadly passed away from a plane crash accident in 2015. Now, the music of this film is composed by Simon Farglin, and I must say, listening to the music of this film sounds very exciting, peaceful, and it feels like we're in Pandora. It also feels like I'm swimming underwater. The song Nothing Is Lost, sang by The Weeknd, sounds very catchy and epic at the same time, although I still prefer I See You, sang by Leona Lewis from the first Avatar film. So overall, Avatar The Way of Water is a fantastic and wonderful sequel. While it's not really 100% perfect and impactful as the first Avatar film, it is still visually stunning. 13 years of waiting is definitely worth a wait. Along with Top Gun Maverick, The Batman, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Jurassic World Dominion, Elvis, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, RRR, Puss in Boots The Last Wish, and Nope, it is one of the best films I saw in 2022. Speaking of that, Avatar The Way of Water is now the fourth film after Spider-Man No Way Home, Top Gun Maverick and Jurassic World Dominion to gross more than $1 billion at the worldwide box office during the pandemic era. So far, it made more than $2 billion worldwide. There's going to be 3 more Avatar sequels coming in the future. I am definitely looking forward to see them. Anyway, if you're a fan of Avatar, you will definitely have a wonderful time seeing this movie. It feels so good to be back to Pandora. So I give this movie 4.5 out of 5 nuclear bombs.